When we picture fantasy, this image is usually where we start. Fantasy is capable of anything, yet we often default to pseudo-medieval Europe. When creators try to diversify their work, they frequently drop Black characters into these settings without actually adapting the underlying world. And when stories do attempt to draw from Black history, they are often locked into the rigid, painful reality of the historical American South. We are going to step away from those defaults. Over the next 5 minutes, we will use a simple framework to build the blueprint for a fantasy setting and magic system drawn authentically from African American folklore. Step 1. Disconnect from the real-world map. Start by outlining your geography and climate, but avoid tracing the map of the 17th century American South. You are creating a secondary world. African American folklore can thrive in a fully fictional landscape that exists entirely outside the timeline of real-world colonialism. Instead of importing an existing map, let this new environment organically shape the culture of the people living there. Take a specific environment, a misty, moss-draped swamp, and expand it into an unmapped continent. This provides a foundation that owes nothing to European history. Detaching your world from actual American geography allows you to explore Blackness on its own terms, free from historical constraints. Step 2. Define your magic mechanics. This chart shows our blank framework, highlighting 2 questions you need to answer. Who uses the magic, and how is it summoned? We leave behind wizards and Latin spellbooks, drawing from Afro-diasporic traditions like Hoodoo and Creole spiritualism. For example, your magic users could be root workers. Instead of casting standard spells, they might petition water spirits or Simbis to influence the environment. This approach has deep roots. Charles W. Chesnutt used these folkloric elements to create the first known speculative fiction collection by a person of color. Rooting your mechanics in actual cultural traditions provides a sense of internal logic that generic fantasy spellcasting lacks. Step 3. Tie that magic to your theme. You do this by setting a specific cost and limitation for the magic system. In many Afro-diasporic stories, magic represents community, resistance, and survival. This flowchart shows our central conflict. On one side, magic rooted in community connection conflicts directly with an oppressive force or advanced technology. Nalo Hopkinson's Brown Girl in the Ring explores this clash, where ancestral magic becomes a tool for resistance against systemic exploitation. To make this work in your setting, set a heavy cost for using magic. Require a deep emotional sacrifice, or show how the regime strictly polices any use of power. When magic has a high risk of detection or physical cost, the mechanics mirror the real-world stakes of resistance. These limitations ensure that using power is a deliberate act of cultural survival. Step 4. Layer the cultural dressing. Move beyond the magic system and integrate specific folklore elements into the mundane, daily lives of your characters. Think about what people encounter every day. Perhaps they leave out offerings for haints or ghosts, or keep frizzle chickens to protect against bad conjure. Look at this woman weaving a basket. Let folklore influence these authentic practices, how your characters dress, their speech patterns, and the crafts they build. This requires research. Relying on superficial tropes or mainstream stereotypes will undermine the authenticity of the world you are trying to build. Go to the source material. Foundations like Drums and Shadows or the original Uncle Remus folktales offer a wealth of detail but can be adapted for a new setting. Adding these layers ensures that your fantasy world feels historically grounded and lived in, rather than like a simple palette swap of a European setting. Look at our completed framework. This is the structural blueprint for a non-medieval setting that uses specific cultural traditions as its bedrock. You now have the components for a story where root workers battle an oppressive empire using ancestral conjure, supported by a world filled with haints and spirits. Take this complete framework and write out your first scene, or start up your brand new tabletop RPG campaign. So break the mold of Eurocentric fantasy, write the diaspora, and share your new magic systems in the comments below.